So today I want to tell you guys a little bit about a serial killer in the Commonwealth. So this is one of the potentially lesser known side quests. It of course is a side quest, something you totally could have missed even on your second or third playthrough, but it's something that hopefully you didn't miss. So if you don't know, what I'm going to be talking about today is Pickman's Gallery. This is actually going to be a location in the north end of Boston. There's another quest that can take you here, but you can actually just walk into the location and it's still a really interesting find. Then the way it's set up is interesting, you get a quest at the end, but regardless, as you approach this location, if you do, you're going to find a ton of raiders swarming it. Like, there are seriously a lot of raiders throughout this whole place. There's probably like 20 to 30 raiders. After you actually fight your way inside the gallery, you're going to notice something rather interesting. Well, first and foremost, there's a lot of blood and a lot of bodies, as well as a bunch of other raiders that seem to be looking for Pickman himself.
You think we're going to catch this Pickman psycho?
The slippery bastard got away before, but Slab won't leave a man breathing after he's hunted our crew.
I heard Pickman skinned Roy alive after he snatched him. Let the rats get at him. Gives me the creeps just thinking about it.
You hear me,
No
Pickman?
joke.
You're a
The
dead
faster
man.
we clip this asshole, the better. Always feels like something's
Pickman,
watching me.
you can't hide down there forever.
So after clearing out most of the raiders in there, you'll hear them kind of referencing you can't hide forever and things like that, but there's not really too many hints or clues as to what's going on here. Well, as you start to look around and evaluate your surroundings, things may start to make a lot more sense. You're going to start finding a ton of raider bodies and body parts. Those which are still lootable are all going to have Pickman's calling card on them. And as you connect 2 and 2, you realize that Pickman is a serial killer who has actually killed almost all of them. On one of the bodies of a largely untouched raider, you actually find this holotape.
Seth, it's me. I found out what happened to the scouts who went missing up near the old art gallery. They're dead, Seth. I'm looking at a goddamn painting of Cal's body. Oh, God. What the hell did I do to him? Who the hell is there?
Admiring my collection? I'm afraid it's not complete yet. Soon, though.
Stay away from me, you psycho!
Yes, just like that. Hold that expression on your face.
It's pretty spooky. Basically, this guy figured out why all of his raider friends were disappearing. He went to this house or gallery and, well, Pickman found him and then, while he was still alive, tormented him and obviously eventually killed him. This guy also mentions the artwork. As you go into this main room, you actually find all this artwork on the walls. Well, that's actually going to be all of these dead raiders. What was going on is Pickman was actually killing these people and painting pictures of them as they were kind of dying or maybe just recently dead. As you explore further throughout the thing, you're going to find a ton of other really gruesome and brutal scenes. Pickman definitely did a number on a lot of these raiders, and you're actually going to find a ton of traps also. It seems like he definitely anticipated maybe somebody finding him or discovering this location. Some of the traps are pretty basic, but other ones are a booby-trapped missile launcher, which be careful because this one might actually kill you, as well as there are mines all throughout this house, so be careful about that also. As you work your way throughout the house, again, you're just going to find body after body, as well as you're going to have to clear out all of those raiders if you didn't already. And at first glance, it kind of seems like that's it. It's just this cool house that has an interesting backstory behind it, but then where's Pickman? Well, as you explore further throughout the house, you actually find a master locked door. You of course have to be a certain level to get through this because there's no hidden key or anything. You just need to have the right perk. And as you break through that, you're actually going to make your way downstairs. So this is really interesting. Some of the other pictures did have a kind of supernatural or interesting feel, but this one definitely has the most. It almost looks like a higher power looking down on all the arms. Maybe those are the arms of the raiders Pickman has killed. Maybe he's doing this as a tribute, or these are all sacrifices to some higher power. In addition, next to that picture, you actually find a blood can. You realize that all of these pictures have been painted in these raiders' blood. That's pretty horrifying, especially when you think back to how many pictures we just looked at. I imagine if there was smell in video games, you would have really gotten that. Regardless, as you work your way further down, you actually find these tunnels. This is going to be underground. Pickman's gallery itself, as well as some of the surrounding areas, and even some sewers are connected here. One really interesting aspect to note here is this actually is going to introduce some radiation. Pickman himself is actually based off of a real-world novel by H.P. Lovecraft. I've covered covered some of Fallout 4's scary locations or lore in the past, and they've also been by H.P. Lovecraft or inspired by. The short story Pikmin's Model is about this guy named Pikmin. He's a very talented artist, but his art is horrifying, and as a result of that, he actually gets his membership revoked from the Boston Art Club, and a lot of the fellow artists kind of shun him. Talented, but maybe a little bit too demonic for their taste. So after the artist himself disappears, the narrator of the story and one of his friends actually goes to find him. He goes to his gallery that's kind of in a rundown part of the town and finds room after room of these horrifying paintings. But then in the final room, he actually finds one that is more horrifying than the rest, and actually a monster eating on a person. He also finds a piece of paper on the ground. He picks it up, but then Pikmin runs out and the two discuss things. I guess you just casually talk about things after finding this horrible painting. But later on, the narrator actually leaves and he realizes he was clutching that piece of paper after all. Well, that piece of paper was actually a real life photograph of that horrible demonic being, and evidently it's real. So obviously this is the inspiration for Pikmin's gallery in Fallout 4. And the reason I mentioned that radiation is maybe as these raiders were progressing through the radiation, it was trying to transform them into ghouls, and that is the kind of demonic part or the supernatural aspect of Pikmin in Fallout 4. Similar to the Children of Adam, maybe he has some kind of worshipping going on with the radiation and is making sacrifices to a god associated with it. But of course, as you've probably been watching, as you progress further and further through the sewers, you're going to find more traps, raider controlled turrets, which how the hell did raiders put down turrets in these tunnels so quickly? Regardless, eventually you'll find a room with 3 raiders holding Pikmin hostage, one of them being the raider leader. You can choose to take them down, or if you're too slow like me, they'll actually just kill them. But regardless, quick saving is a thing, so then you do get this dialogue option with Pikmin.
That was close. Thank you. Those people deserved worse than death.
Why did they want you so badly?
A small disagreement. They objected to my hobby of collecting their heads. Let me repay you.
What did you have in mind?
A gift. Nothing more. If you visit my house again, look deep within my painting, Picnic for Stanley, and you will find my gratitude. You'll need this.
Excuse me.
Thanks again.
So that's actually all the dialogue he has. From there, you can't actually talk to him anymore. You could kill him at that point if you choose to. You can get the key if you let the raiders kill him also, but then as you work your way back out and towards his gallery, you'll actually discover that he did have a secret compartment into a bombed out house. In that house is a bunch of normal artwork. So in my eyes, this is actually Pikmin's original house. Maybe he somehow went into a cryo sleep similar to how we did. Maybe he was actually in another vault in the area or one of the surrounding areas, and then he did return to Boston because that was his original house. Finding it bombed out or maybe his family gone, it kind of destroyed him. It messed him up mentally so much that he turned to other means, and that's how he became a serial killer against the raiders. Again, there's no proof or anything that this is his house, but I just think it makes a lot of sense. There's a ton of artwork on the walls, as well as he did make a tunnel leading between the two houses, which is kind of weird for an escape route if you didn't really expect yourself to get captured. From there, you can work your way back into his gallery, and behind the painting there is a safe with a unique weapon, one of the few unique weapons in Fallout 4, as well as a thank you note referring to you as a killer. You of course did just kill all of the raiders trying to kill Pikmin, basically saving his life, but at the same time really accomplishing what he wanted to do anyway. You probably killed more raiders in that instance going through this house than he did in all of his serial killing. So if this mass serial killer is referring to you as killer, honestly, who's better? Who's on the right side of the moral boundary? And something interesting, Pikmin's gone at this point. If you go back down there and try and look for him, as I did, he's actually just not there. To have escaped himself, maybe to move somewhere else and start over. But yeah, that's Pikmin's gallery, the serial killer of Fallout 4. Definitely one of the more haunted and spooky locations in the game. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys found this video informative or if you just found it really interesting. Have you experienced this? Did you do this kind of mini quest as it is? As always, again, and thank you for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.